We all know someone who makes us feel bad after we talk to them. Maybe it's a family member or coworker who tries to get what they want. They always have something to say about everything. People like this are harmful, and all they know how to do is make other people upset. Toxic people defy logic. It's awful to be around them. Some people don't even know how bad they are for those around them. Some just seem to enjoy making trouble and pushing people to their limits. In either case, toxic people cause problems, tension, and stress that don't need to be there. Sigma males don't like things that make them feel stressed. They don't have time for things that aren't necessary and will make life difficult. They have learned how to deal with toxic people in a good way so they don't get in their way. Sigmas are calm and logical and can deal with toxic people without making a big deal out of it. They won't let themselves get caught up in those people's bad vibes because it would affect people. So without wasting any more time, here are 10 ways Sigma males ignore toxic people. 1. They'd never bother trying to change a toxic person. People do change, but not everybody does. It is not easy to change someone. Seeing it through takes a lot of time, work, and dedication. It's even worse to change a toxic person. They make things so hard that you might get frustrated and give up before you can make a real difference. Because of this, Sigmas will never try to change someone who is toxic. Toxic people don't need to be fixed. The only way they can change is if they choose to. Even when they're not, Sigmas are always doing something. They would rather work on themselves than make a bad person their pet project. You may be thinking, why not try it? Maybe it could still work. Well, being close to someone who stresses you out is bad for your mental health in a big way. You can't change a bad person in one day. You have to be with them for a long time. The more time you spend with someone, the more their bad mood affects you. If care isn't taken, the damage done at the end may be impossible to fix. Sigma men will never do anything that could make them lose their minds. They want to be around happy people and avoid hanging out with someone who always complains. 2. They avoid arguing with that person. Toxic people are awful to be around. They are rude and annoying, and they always have something bad to say about someone or something. They are always trying to get people to feel sorry for them, and what's worse is that they can make you feel bad for something you didn't even do. If you ever get into a fight with them, they will keep using it against you until you start to hate yourself for almost nothing you did wrong. They stick their claws into your mind and start to change you from the inside. Sigma males do everything they can to avoid getting into fights with them. They know that if they make that mistake, that person will use it against them over and over again. Also, the problem doesn't end there. Toxic people are very manipulative and will even say you were mean to them if they don't get what they want. Soon, people start to hate you for something you didn't do. Sigma men know that some people have bad ideas, so they try to stay away from them as much as possible. 3. They don't give them any kind of attention. When you listen to someone complain about their problems over and over again, those problems keep coming back. It seems like all you do is listen to their problems. They only get in touch when they have something negative to say. To break out of that cycle, you have to build walls and keep them out. Sigma males are tired of hearing the same complaints. They don't like being around people who only say bad things. While some can tolerate being around negative people, Sigma men will not put up with it. They don't care if they seem rude or disrespectful, but they won't put up with toxic people's negativity, not even for a short time. If there's nothing else he can do, the Sigma would rather leave than spend all day listening to complaints. 4. They know that some people are naturally pessimistic. Sigma males like to watch other people. As they do this, they find out the truth about a person's character and can tell if they are just copying others or are naturally negative. This tells them how to deal with that person. Sigma males are realistic enough to know that some toxic people are innately pessimistic, and they like that. But Sigmas try to stay away from them. They try not to have anything to do with this kind of person at all. But you can't always avoid it, like when the person is a family member. In such a situation, a Sigma won't bother to do anything. Instead, they just stop being around that person. They don't try to change that person and don't pick fights with that person. What they do is avoid the person at all costs so they don't get caught in the person's web of negativity and emotional blackmail. 5. They attempt to approach them in an entirely new way. You can't get away from some people, no matter how bad they are. And since they can't be changed, what else is there to do? Sigma males are smart and can find a way out of almost any situation. Toxic people are constantly complaining about their problems. Instead of joining them to complain and talk badly, Sigma men start talking about what can be done to fix the problem. Toxic people only want to think about the bad things and don't want anyone to help them fix them. All they want to do is complain. But when Sigmas start talking about solutions, they try to change the subject to something that is obviously not a problem. When this keeps happening, they stop complaining around Sigma because they don't want him to start giving them advice they won't use. By doing this, the Sigma isn't trying to change them or cut them off. Instead, he's just setting up an invisible barrier that stops the person's negative energy from spreading to them. 6. They stop being friends with that person. Sometimes, getting away from a toxic person is the best way to protect yourself from them. Sigma males do everything they can to get away from people they think are bad for them. They start staying out of sight and doing other things that will keep them from seeing that person. They can even change their schedule if that keeps them away from that person. If that person is a coworker, Sigma men find others to hang out with and try as hard as they can to never be where that person could see them. They have no more contact with that person and move on with their lives. Even if that person comes around, they don't seem interested in what they have to say. If the person doesn't want to leave, they make an excuse. It can be hard to get rid of toxic people. They just keep coming back around and don't care if you want to listen or not. They like to spend their time being unhappy and confused. But Sigma men are strong, and once they decide to break up with someone, they'll do it no matter what. 7. They don't talk about them or get involved in small drama with them. Sigma men don't enjoy gossip at all. They don't like to talk about people behind their backs, and they like to keep everyone in the loop. On the other hand, people who are bad for you love to talk about other people. They keep getting closer and closer to you to find out what you know about other people. They are very good at manipulating people, and if they can, they will use your own words against you. Sigma men know how toxic people think, so they won't say anything that could make their position look bad. They also don't want to get into trouble with a person who is bad for them. Sigma men don't want to deal with any drama in their lives. They can take care of their own problems without making a fuss. But toxic people like to cause trouble. They have very dramatic lives and make a big deal out of small problems they can solve on their own. 8. They become emotionally distant. Dealing with people who are bad for you is tiring and annoying. Every time they come back, they have bigger problems. Sigma men don't want to hang out with these kinds of people, so they shut down emotionally. They stop talking to the person and stop responding to their complaints. Toxic people are also sensitive, and they can tell when their attempts to manipulate someone aren't working. As soon as they realize that Sigma doesn't care about them, they try to move on and find someone else to annoy. Sigma males don't let toxic people affect them emotionally. Sigmas start to cut ties with that person, even though they are close to them, so they can live a quiet and peaceful life. 9. They try to stay away from toxic people as much as possible. Sigma males don't just stop when they emotionally separate themselves from toxic people, they also separate themselves physically. If you keep seeing toxic people, you won't be able to emotionally separate yourself from them completely. The process won't be done until you're physically gone from their lives too. How will they bother you if they can't find you? Sigmas do everything they can to stay away from toxic people. They stay as far away from them as possible and don't go near them. They don't care if they have to quit their job or move to a new place if it means getting away from a bad person. They want to keep their minds from going crazy at all costs, so it doesn't matter what they do as long as that person is out of their lives. If they can't run away, they do a lot of other things that keep them busy and always out of reach. 10. They do their best to forget they even exist. With emotional distance and physical space, Sigma males try to forget that toxic people exist. They go about their daily lives as if that person isn't there. They won't try to change the person in any way, nor will they try to hang out with that person. Even if that person is a family member, Sigma males don't care if they're there or not. Some toxic people don't know how what they do affects the people around them. But if they see that people are ignoring them because of who they are, they might try to change. If people don't want to change, they also leave Sigma. In either case, the Sigma man benefits because he no longer has to deal with their problems. This trick also works for people who are bad and like making trouble for other people. No matter how heartless they are, they can't stand being ignored. When they see that the Sigma no longer cares about them, they leave him alone.